no one want to hear that you have lost someone through death, you have lost something, you have lost um, even your job. No one want to accept that reality. And therefore, Kubra said, we want to deny that reality. It is a way to protect ourselves from that painful reality. So, but when we deny, we also isolate ourselves as we try to process those news. You don't want other people to be near you at that point. So Kubra said you deny and then you isolate. And she went ahead and said the second thing that people do is to get very angry. And she said anger is very common. Why is it common? Because we want someone to blame, someone or something to blame because of the loss that has happened. And therefore, Kubra would say, once you hear the loss has happened, once you get to hear about that loss, yes, you deny, but the second thing, you get angry. You are angry because you need someone to blame. You need something to blame. But she went on and said that the third thing that happens to people, when you start internalizing, when the reality starts sinking, then you start bargaining with God. You start promising God anything and everything about you and about life, whatever you will do, if He can revert whatever happened, the loss you went through. But we know things like death are permanent in the sense that this person may not come back to life unless a miracle happened. But she went on and said, after the bargaining, people sink into depression. Depression here may not be like what Dr. Wedima will talk about, the major depressive disorder, but it is a depression where people will, the reality of loss has sunk and people react. Sadness comes, people are crying, people lose interest, people question things, people wonder many things. So this depression may not be like the normal depression like we deal with, but it is almost near to that. But it happens because now the reality of loss and grief is sinking. And she said, finally, after people have gone through the four things, they may get to acceptance. Kubra said, getting to acceptance is a miracle because a lot of people are struggle with the other stages a lot before they get to acceptance. Because acceptance means you have come to terms with the loss and you have now started adopting to the loss. I don't know when you look at it or when you hear those 5 stages, I call them DABDA, DABDA. I don't know whether you can find anything relevant there. And as I said, it may not be the whole truth, but this is somebody's theory. This is somebody's understanding. They have done research, they have found people may go through that way, but it is not a straight line. You may start from anywhere and end from at a different place. But what she argued a lot is the main thing is to help people get to accepting that the loss has happened and adopt to that loss. So that is Cobra. I want to talk about another person called Warden. William Warden, went a different way. He said, other than the stages of Kubra, he said there's tasks that individuals who have gone through loss need to go through. And he said there are 4 tasks. One of them, he said, it is to accept the reality of the loss. Now, what we have finished with when it came to Kubra, it is what Warden starts with. He says, an individual who has gone through any loss, and I want to talk to us because every one of us here have experienced loss of one kind or the other. And therefore, if you have gone through any loss, according to William Warden, he says you have to accept that the loss have occurred